Okay, welcome to Saturday afternoon. It's team training. I want to put a couple of sort of housekeeping aspects here. One, we do have various teams represented here today. We've got a number of teams here who are building in United Kingdom. And because we have our national sales manager on, it's only right to open this up to everybody. So, one of the things that we want to make sure we do as we move through opening the United Kingdom and Irish market is that we come together and support one another, because the ground momentum that's being created right now is very exciting. But more importantly, we want people to see teams working together. And on that basis, we do have an incredible individual sharing with us shortly that's giving up his time to be with us today. But that's going to be down to our sales manager to introduce him to you, our sales director to introduce him. But I want to introduce right now our National Sales Director, Steve Morley. Some of you have seen and heard from Steve, but Steve is working round the clock, 24/7, putting everything in place. He's got a few updates for us today, but this gentleman, I'm so excited that he said yes to take a corporate role. I've seen what he's done previously with billion-dollar companies, but so I know what we're going to do together as we build to $1 billion with Zinzino. So with that said, keep sending those reminders out. We're up to almost 40 people on the call right now. So congratulations, but there's plenty more that can be on this call right now. So don't stop throughout the training. You want as many of your team on the call hearing the content of today's training. And we're going to kick off with National Sales Manager, Steve Morley.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all having a great Saturday. Stuart, lots of love to you, mate. I know you've got some issues at home. Just love from everybody, seriously. Anything the company can do to help, obviously give us a shout. I want to start just by congratulating everybody. I mean, every month we've had a record month this year. This year we're already 25% above last month. Well, pretty much 25% above last month. So congratulations, more money for you guys. I'm really very proud of you. Well done. And we're just getting started. I'd like to announce also that we are finalizing a UK Facebook group for the UK market and Irish market. So better communication, more understanding, promotions, everything will be on there. And hopefully you can all use that and appreciate that. And the UK newsletter as well. So hopefully the first one will be out next week, focusing on the UK market. I'd like your input, and I'll be in touch with many of you over the next week or so for content and things you would like to see on it. We are struggling a little bit with deliveries in the UK. Don't be surprised if you have to wait maybe at the moment about 2 or 3 days longer than you would normally wait. It is only because medicines and food are coming in from everywhere. So it's no big deal at the moment, and we're working on it, and the company's done a great job in terms of making sure we've got the product for you all. What I want to do, and what I'm so happy, fortunate and proud to share today, is we have someone who a lot of you I know would be happy or start off focusing on having 8 customers, and you'd be very happy with 8, and then you'd be very happy, I'm sure, with 80, and I'm sure with customers you'd be very happy with 800, and I'm sure you'd be delighted with 8,000. Our next speaker, and someone I want to introduce you to, is a friend to the company, been building since it started, and now has more than 80,000 customers in his organization. And that's why I kept my little brief, that's why I kept my little brief update, and I'll talk more and I'll be on chat updating you as we go along. But this guy is truly a friend to the company. And I think what's really important for me is the relationship between the field and the corporate side, because over my time in the industry, they've never really been aligned. Here in Zinzino, I just feel that we're just one family. So Ebe is like me. I've got a family of 4 children, big football supporter, lives in Denmark, and is respected and appreciated by every leader in the business. And today I'd just like to ask Ebe a few questions on the business. But to start with, Ebe, thank you very much from everyone in the UK. I know you have family here, which is fantastic, and lucky us. Ebe, we're a new market, we're growing. everyone is styling off. It's fairly new. It'd be great if you could just introduce yourself, how you got into the business, and we take it from there, if that's okay.
Yeah, for me, it's a pleasure to be a part of the UK team, and I'm so happy to see so many people here. And I do believe that UK gonna be an enormous market in the future. And like I shared before we start the recording, I'm really looking forward to coming back to the UK in live person, not only online. So, but basically, I started up with Cincino in 2005, and my main reason why I started was because I needed to earn some extra money because my wife, she wanted to continue staying home with the kids. And yeah, then I promised her, okay, I need to find a way to earn a little bit extra money. And then I decided to look into Cincino, and that was really something that I could see myself earning a little bit extra money. And then I promised my wife, give me 1 year and I will go out and work for it. So that's basically how I started up working part-time with Cincino and spent 10, 15 hours a week. And that was before we had anything called Zoom. So that was offline meetings. And of course, you need to spend some evenings when you're building a business. So that was basically my beginning. And then I continued working part-time for the first 3 years. And this is maybe something you need to consider also saying, hey, Cincino is brilliant to build part-time. And I spent 3 years to build a team of 500 customers. And then I spent probably 6 months into my full-time career to double that numbers to 1,000 customers. And then things was growing step by step. And when we launched the Balance Oil in 2012, I have built a pretty good team with 3,000 customers. And when you're having 3,000 customers, you can have a pretty good income and can have a good life. And I know many of you on this call, you're going to reach that much faster than I did. And that's just great. It's because we're going into a new area now, because that means I spent 7 years to build 3,000 customers. And then during the last 7 years, that's been growing from 3,000 to today it's 83,000 customers in total.
Well,
things have changed totally during the last many years. So,
when you first started, Eve, I mean, obviously it couldn't have been easy the first 90, 120 days when you got in the business. How important was it to make sure that you kind of adopted the system and tools and personal growth? Are you still an advocate for personal growth, reading and the basics, basically?
Yeah, because like when I started, I have never been working with a business before. I was working as an alarm technician, as an education, as an lecturer. So one of the first book that I started reading in 2005 was Think and Grow Rich. And that was where I realized that I have so many areas where I really need to develop. So I've been taking the personal development so serious because I needed to grow.
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. It was one of my first books also. And actually all his books are great. Okay, so you got in the business, you done obviously very well. What kind of, you obviously had bad days sometimes. What kept you focused and motivated when you had a bad day to continue and follow the system?
You know, when you promise your wife that you can make a full-time income for her, then you need to delivering on your promises. So I would say one of the things that kept me going the first year was that I promised this is something we need to do. So that's one thing. And then I went on the first trip with the company in January 2007. That was to Brazil. And that was a big turning point for me because that was where I realized the culture in Cincino. And on that trip, we were only 35 people qualified. But I got to learn the different people who was working with Cincino. And that's where I really understand this is a business that I want to do full-time in the future because I really love the people and I love the culture we were having. And that was basically where I started to adopt even more into following the system and listening to different leaders.
Okay, if you kind of treated me as a new learner, someone new in the business, what are the key steps you train on to get the newest partner through the Fast Start incentives as a new partner?
Step number one is to start using the products. That means take your first test, start using all the different products. That means both the oil and the extend and the fiber. And that's the benefit in UK is that we're having all those products. So that means you can get your own personal experience. And then we need to have the focus on getting in the first customers, because that is giving you personal proof that, okay, someone else than me want to buy those products. So it's about product training and then getting in the first customer. So you have a feeling, okay, this is working.
Absolutely. Kind of today you've built a huge business. What's your motivation each day? I mean, do you just work with the leaders now? Do you bring new people in yourself? What's your kind of thinking on that side of the business?
I have never been more motivated than I am today. But listen, guys, we have today 250,000 customers in Cincino. During the next 3-4 years, we're going to pass 1 million customers. But during the next 15 years, we're going to go to 20 million customers. So that's totally different compared to what we have done in the last 15 years. So I've decided to go into massive recruiting. I even texted with someone that was in my own team, but sometimes when you have a big team, you don't know if they're in your team. But then I'm just happy that they are already in Cincino. So I'm really reaching out to a lot of people because I want to get new people into this journey that we are on. And I want people to give the opportunity. And that's the next thing. If we're taking, and I'm very sorry about the status also in UK regarding the virus, but in that sense, we are having some very serious tasks we need to do. We need to get people more healthy. There's going to be a lot of focus on health during the next many, many years. That's one thing. Test. People is hearing about test every single day. We have a different test that can see how people's balance is. That's going to be something that people really need to take now. And then the next thing is a lot of people is losing either their paycheck or some of their paychecks, so they need to earn more money. And we have a great opportunity because we have a company that is not going out of business, but going to stay here for the rest of your lives and also for my life. And that means we can bring people into a business where we can be proud to working together with them and building this team up.
Well, that's fantastic. And how are you finding building online during this time where people can't go out and leave their homes? Is it slowing you down? Are you having to adapt? Is it increasing your business? What feelings are you getting there?
I would say Cincino have developed during the last couple of years a lot of tools to be working online, but I've been building most of my organization offline. Even just to give you an example, I started up in Hungary for 2.5 years ago. In Hungary, they are a little bit behind regarding working online. So that means they didn't use Facebook so much. They didn't use iPhone so much. So that was a totally different culture. And that was something I was used to because we have normally been working offline. But then for 2 weeks ago, everyone in Europe, they need to adapt to go into work online. And I must say, I'm just proud of both what Cincino is doing, but also all the partners in Cincino, because they have adapted to work online so fast. So we haven't seen that we are dropping in sales. No, we are basically increasing in sales. So today, what I'm doing is I'm texting a lot of people just to checking in where they are. And if they are open for hearing about where Cincino is, then I'm inviting them in for a Zoom meeting. And then I'm doing a presentation on Zoom.
Fantastic, Yves. And my last question, which words of encouragement would you share to the team today to take action through this period?
Well, maybe I should just share a little bit about my story regarding when I started up in Hungary. Because I fly to Hungary the 4th of July, 2017, because I got a referral to a lady that I want to meet. And thereafter we have had a lunch and we have decided to start doing business together. We start working in Hungary, and Hungary was a little bit different at the time because we didn't have any things in Hungarian language. So we need to have a translator all the time. But we start building, and it took us basically 6 months to build a strong foundation of 1,000 customers. But today, Hungary is the company is probably this year is going to be the biggest market, but also the fastest growing market. I think we have, I don't know, 30, 40,000 customers in Hungary. So that's the benefit that you're sitting with in UK, that we are going into UK now, and we're going to have everything in pound very soon. I know Steve is working on that. So now you have the opportunity to go out and do massive action, because most of you is probably sitting at your home because you can't go to work. A lot of the people you're contacting is sitting at home because they can't go to work, so they have plenty of time. So that means during the next couple of months, you can build a strong foundation that can grow so rapidly into the UK. And I do believe that UK gonna be one of our biggest markets in the future. And that's also why I can guarantee you, I'm gonna be a part of being training on your events, because I will love to build in UK together with you. And that's one of the strengths that Cincino is having. We're having a strong culture where everyone is working as one team. So it doesn't matter if you're cross-lined or up-line or down-line. No, we work together as one team. So that's why I think timing now is to go in and do massive action and spend your free time now to really build up your own business.
Well, Yves, you're a massive inspiration to everybody. Congratulations on how many people you've helped. The UK welcomes you anytime you want to come over. And I look forward to taking you or hosting you at Anfield or at Tottenham sometime soon. Yves, from everyone in the UK, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for people if they are supporting different teams, but I'm supporting Liverpool, but I also love Tottenham and all the other different teams in UK. So that's how it is. But we probably need to wait another 30 years to be champion. We don't know if you're going to make it this year.
I think Tottenham have to wait 100, so don't worry. Thank you, Yves. I really appreciate it. And with that, I hand you back to the person who's really driving the UK market. Really proud to be a friend and working with him every day. Diamond partner, please, Dave Ives.
Thank you, Steve. Ives, thank you very much. I wish we spent the whole hour listening to you, but I'm glad you said you're willing to come back, and we're looking forward to working shoulder to shoulder. And make one of our dreams is making Cincino a household brand name, and I believe that's going to be very possible in the next few short months, 24 months or so, which is short when you actually think about that duration. So, but thank you, Ives. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you. One of the things, your consistency. One of the things I hope you got from that, folks, is 7 years. 7 years to get 3,000, and we get frustrated when our neighbor laughs. 7 years, but now well over 83,000. So, and I'll guarantee you, just with a nod, Ives, just with a nod, has your skill grown in that time? There you go, folks. If we're not getting the results we want, don't look at people like Ives and Steve Morley and the Booths and go, it's okay for them. They were bad at the beginning too. They were bad at the beginning too. And the longer we resist getting into personal development, the longer we stay bad. It's personal growth, learning how to position the opportunity, learning how to position what we are bringing to the market. And that is, I believe, the #1 test-based nutritional opportunity on planet Earth. And the market couldn't be more receptive even through this hysteria. So it's how we bring it and the value we believe we are bringing. And the next gentleman I want you to listen to is because I've been listening to him all week of how he positions it and how he shares it with customers. And I get on, he gets me on 2 or 3 three-way calls every day. He doesn't need me on his calls, trust me. He doesn't need me on his calls, but he's using the system of 3-way credibility. So with that said, I want to say I'm very excited about what he's been doing this week, what he's done in these first couple of months. And what he is doing is teaching and duplicating the simplicity of what he does. And so Steve Wilson, if you're on the call, unmute yourself, take the next 10, 15 minutes if you would, and just share a little bit what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what's working for you. And I'd encourage everybody, I am recording, but take some notes as well, because he's going to probably drop some nuggets in here that you may not hear it right now, but when you go back and read it and digest it, you're going to see it's only a small, fine tweak can make a huge, big difference to your conversion rate. Steve, I'll hand it over to you now, my friend, and thank you for being on.
Yeah, no problem, David. I'd just like to say, to start with, I'm grateful that you kept in touch with me about this opportunity, because otherwise, I think I'd be struggling quite a bit, because with this current market with the coronavirus, you know, I would tell you the other day, my inquiries through my practice and online nutrition practice have gone through the roof. Obviously, I can offer them the Cinzino protocol, which is amazing for clients across the world, especially in the UK now. So I just want to say grateful to start with, and I'm sure everyone on this call is very grateful that they said yes to you or the person who invited them to the opportunity. Because over the past few weeks, our inquiry rate has gone up by probably about 500%, something like that, from social media and a few ads and what have you. So that's great, and we're getting them people who are becoming awakened by this, by this pandemic, where people actually want to look after their health. And for people who don't know me on this call, my background is health coaching, nutrition, NLP. I have a practice in Cheshire, and I've worked in that industry since I had cancer, about 14 years now. And I've always been trying to hammer health into people, you know, including my own mother and my family. And since this pandemic and this wake-up call, as I prefer to call it, you know, the 80% of people who wasn't listening before are now switched on to listening. I'm having phone calls with people who are contacting me and not even looking at the Cinzino video and signing up to the protocol just from me explaining it to them. So people are getting awoken. So just to what Dave was saying, and what I like to do, obviously, I want to build 100,000 customers myself with a small team. And that's one of my personal goals. But it's about keeping this message simple. I think if you try to become an expert on the phone, a lot of customers especially become overwhelmed by the amount of information. It's good to know the information, but I know a lot about nutrition. You know, I've got a library full of books on nutrition, but I just try and keep it very simple to a customer. So for example, to gather customers, I contact my obviously warm customer market to start with, and ex-clients, current clients who've inquired in the past, and just tell them that, you know, I now offer a blood test to check whether they're in or out of balance with their omega-6 and their omega-3s, which will generally spark their interest. And then I'll do a phone call or a Zoom call like this. And what I tend to do is I don't try and tell them that Cinzino is the most amazing product in the world. I just ask them about their problems. You know, so I ask them, you know, is health important to you? Obviously it is, because you've rang a health coach to speak to them about. So I still ask the question, but then I just, you know, put my, 2 ears, 1 mouth, and I really just calm down and just listen when I ask them a few simple questions. Is, you know, what's your health like currently? You know, is there any problems that you've got, you know, what you want to talk about? And then I listen, and they'll tell me, like, you know, like, I've got arthritis, chronic pain, or I've just had a child and I've got baby brain, or they'll just literally open up with tons of different problems. And then I'll ask them another question, and the question will be, how's that affecting your life? You know, how's that affecting your relationship, financially? How's it affecting you as a person? And then they'll tell me all that again. And then all I do is listen. And then I keep listening, and, you know, I've made mental notes, or, you know, if you've not got a very good memory, make some notes on your pad as they're telling you all their information. And this is opening the person up. They're ringing me, and they're opening up with all their issues. And we know, you know, if you do Cinzino, and the reason why I'm so passionate about the blood testing, if we can test on a cellular level whether you're in or out of balance, there's so many different health conditions related to, you know, not having enough omega-3 in your blood and being out of balance. I don't make medical claims to people, and we shouldn't do that, but what I do know is, from all the reading I've done and all the omega-3 books I've read, and, you know, the different studies in the library in the back office, you'll see a lot of conditions related to it. So what I'll say to the client is, I'll say, well, we offer a blood test just to test the inflammation in your body. And any nutritionist will tell you all inflammation leads to disease. You know, I had cancer when I was 23, which is a buildup of inflammation. And since that time, that's why I've got my own, you know, coaching practice, from being wakened up by an illness at the time. Even though I was physically a kickboxer, in shape, you know, did rugby at a good level, aesthetically I looked like the best health ever at 23, but internally I had cancer. So I know how important being in a non-inflammation state is. So I just keep it really simple with the client, and I just say, look, we offer a blood test that shows us if you have inflammation or non-inflammation, omega-6 to omega-3, and it just basically means that the cells, if they're above 3.1, are really hard and they won't release toxins, and they won't let nutrients in. So even if I wrote you the best nutrition plan in the world, it's still not going to be absorbed correctly. So with this simple test, which is not expensive, we can get a starting point to where you are. Then we have a really good omega-3 oil, which is mixed with early harvest polyphenols, just to soften those cells up to get you back in balance, Mr. Customer. And how it works, we do 2 blood tests, 149 euros. You take the oil on a 6-month subscription, but at 4 months, 120 days, you're going to get a second blood test in the post. You're going to take your oil every single day, and we have a free app to remind you of the oil, to take it, accountability. You're going to take 1 ml per 10 kilograms of weight. So I'm just giving them some direction, how it works, so they can picture in their mind how it's going to work. And then at 4 months, Mr. Customer, your second blood test is going to come in the post. It's just going to validate that the product's actually working. We've reduced all this inflammation, which will help with all these conditions that you've just mentioned currently a few minutes ago, like, your arthritis, your chronic fatigue, your baby brain. I have clients who've been struggling with depression for years, and then they've been on the oil for 8 weeks and they're coming off the meds. I don't tell anyone to come off meds, but they're literally just ringing me up. I'm having people's mums ring me up with all kinds of testimonials, which is amazing, and I just know how it's working with a gut-brain connection. So I just basically keep it very simple, tell them how it's going to work, and then I say for 149 euros, the 2 tests, the 2 months worth of oil, you're paying your subscription monthly, the app's free. After 365 days, you're going to get free shipping. And by that point, Mr. Jones, you're going to probably refer to your mum, your friend, your wife, your children, because you'll see the benefits and the value of it. And there's a couple of little articles I'll send you to read on for your own reading. And they'll be like, oh, that's amazing. And I'll say, how does that sound to you? Do you want to, me to help you with these conditions that you've just listed, in as conversation? Yes, I would. Well, let's get that set up today, Mr. Jones. It's 149 euros. I'm just going to log into my account now. Let's get that set up. And every customer I ring, and I've worked in sales quite a long time, but every customer I ring, if they're interested, I would say 90% of them sign up there and then, because I'm not trying to sell them the blood test and the product. I'm asking them about their conditions and how I can, be of service to them conditions and help them with them problems that they've rang me up for. What I'm finding at the moment with the coronavirus, everyone has got the keyword immune system. And if you know anything about your immune system, it's made in your gut. We're about 70% bacteria. So the main product that I sell to every single customers, even when I started before the coronavirus, is the protocol. So the 2 tests, the oil working to soften the cells so everything can be absorbed, the Extend, which is one of the best multivitamins I've seen, which is going to obviously boost their immune system, which if you've got a strong immune system, you're going to prevent yourself catching things. I don't make any claims about you will not catch the coronavirus, but what I do say is we have a very strong immune system. You put yourself at less risk to anything really, and then the prebiotics, it feeds the good bacteria in the gut. So it's not a probiotic where you just put in bacteria in there, good bacteria. It's a prebiotic. And if you've ever listened to anything about Dr. Clayton talking about that product, it works within about 2 to 4 days. And it's amazing how it just feeds that good bacteria. You can feel it working. What I find with people with low mood depression, they talk a lot about that the mood's picked up quite quickly because of that gut-brain connection. So that's what I recommend to all my clients. And I just say to them, look, you've rang me up. Immune system is very important. We offer a 6-month protocol to get your immune system tip-top with the multivitamin, the prebiotics for the gut health, and the oil to balance all the cells. So synergistically, the 3 products for 75 euros a month, which is £60, is going to keep you in tip-top. And obviously you've got your 2 blood tests at the start, and then the second blood test is going to validate everything working. And then if the customer actually says to me, and I learned a lot from Grant Cardone's training about sales and approaching and closing. And if the customer says, oh, all right, I'll come back to you. And I'll be like, well, what is the problem? Do you need more information? Do you need more value? I don't let them go. I ask them another question. And some people, and I'll say, is it a financial thing? And they'll be like, well, yeah. You know, 239 euros is pretty steep to set up with. And then I'll go back to the questions. You know, well, you did say that you were concerned about your immune system. You know, it's been compromised. You've had a chest infection recently, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever they said in the beginning of the call, I repeat back, and then I say, you know, £60 a month. What do you spend on, you know, your takeaways, your fast food, you know, all these different things, what people have subscriptions to, which are just pointless, which are going to numb the mind. I try and find a solution. You know, if they've told me all the problems, they've opened up to me, I know that there's a solution. And if they're not going to do the sale there and then, I know that it's probably going to be a financial one. So I work then on that side, rather than, I've seen a lot of people just go, okay, then see you later. And they'll never bring them back. And they've got quite negative that the person said no, or they didn't get a sale out of it. I'm talking about team members and people. I've seen this in other organizations, but if you just keep asking questions, you can normally get to the root cause. And if it's a financial one, like I did a client yesterday, he said, look, I want to do the protocol, Stephen, but I've just not got 239 euros. And I said, well, could you do like about 150, 160? And he said, yeah, I could. I said, well, you can do the protocol, but just do the blood test at 4 months' time when you're back at work, knowing that your bloods are all back in balance then, and just take my word for it that, you know, your bloods are going to not be in balance after 97% of the public are out of balance. And the guy was like, oh, I didn't realize I could do that. But if I had not asked the question, I would have let them go, because I just thought that he couldn't afford the full protocol kit. But instead, I asked a question, you know, what can you afford? Well, I can do about 160, but I know the protocol is going to be a lot better for this guy because he's got skin problems, eczema, psoriasis, few gut issues. You know, I know his gut needs to be back in order with that prebiotic, and I love that prebiotic. It's one of my favorite products, as well as the oil. So I use all the protocol myself, and I've done from day one, and we all do in the house. But basically, it was just me asking that last question before I let him go. You know, can you do the protocol without the first blood test? I don't recommend doing this like as a rollout thing, but it was just for that one client that he really wants to do it, but that 100 plus euros were just a bit too much on the startup. So he's signed up this morning, and he's going to do it's still 3 customer points, you know, exactly the same, but he's going to do the blood test in 4 months' time when he's back at work. So I was just making an option for him. And that's, I think, as, you know, not look at it as sales, but look at it as service. Sales means servicing people. And if you can just ask the right questions to find the problems, you know, gently put the solution in there with some, you know, some nice bit of knowledge around omega-3, or just some little bits, or even just send the video. A lot of the time I just send the 2-minute video and then call them straight back, rather than explaining everything on the phone. And then what I do is asking those last few questions when you think that the sale's not going to happen. 9 times out of 10 it does, because you asked the right question, or you got to the root cause. There's always a root cause, and it's 1, they didn't get enough value from the chat or the video. 2, there might not have been a financial point. Or 3, you just didn't ask enough questions to get to their pain point of why they want to sort the health out. But what I will tell you is, since this coronavirus scare, people's reptilian brains have been triggered, and they're in that bit of fear mode where some people have got into hiding, and they're not your customers, but a lot of people are looking for health solutions and, you know, financial solutions as well. So we have both, and I'm really excited at what this is going to look like in, you know, another 12 months, 24 months, with myself, my team, and Sidelines, and what we can actually create in the UK. So hope that helps. And yeah, thank you, David. That's about it. That's what I've got for you.
You know, it's yeah. There's a couple of things, and I'm going to go into some training now. But there's a couple of things. One, look, there's a individual who's got 80,000+ customers, and he's still on the call. He's still on the call. Why? Maybe he can pick up some things himself, right? Maybe he's excited about the UK market. What an honor that someone of Ives' caliber and success is still investing time to be a team player with us. Stephen, the energy was unbelievable. One thing I'd just like to say, because I saw some faces go, huh? And again, if you want to jump on here, you know, when Ives talked about getting on a plane and going to Hungary, the average income, household income in Hungary is significantly less than the UK. But they were getting people on free products. And then, and Ib can correct me, by all means, unmute yourself, Ib, and maybe share. But it was, hey, protocol, free products. You can't afford 3, 2. You can't afford 2, then you got them on the balance oil, right? So the reality is, what Steve just shared today, he said, this is not what he promotes to everyone, because I saw some faces. I personally, not conflicting, I'd rather them take the test and drop onto 2 products. I'd rather do that. Why? They get a score. They get a score that way, because if they come back with a score out of balance, then they may be more incentivized to get the other product after a couple of weeks. So, you know, that was Steve listening to a need and servicing it. Now, one of the things we teach, or I try to get people to understand right now, not just the UK, but around the world, because this opportunity is global. It's the 3 Ps. Posture. Do you think the way Steve just spoke and position, do you think he had posture when he talks to people? That's one of the things. The message is the same. You know, you can put, the message is the same. Hey, Ib, is health important to you? Yeah. Well, if there's a test that you and I could take together, yeah, and we could see whether we were in or out of balance with our health, would you check out a 2-minute video? It's the same message, but it's the posture that we message it with. And Steve, I've been absolutely blown away with Stephen this week. I mean, his energy has been consistent all week long, and he doesn't even hear a no. It doesn't slow him down. And I'll be honest with you this right now. This is not the time to slow down. This is the time to sharpen our axes, believe that we have a product and an opportunity to position it with the right posture, not capitalizing what a lot of people think that people in this industry are doing, capitalizing. We're not. Our message is more relevant than ever before. It's more relevant. So, Steve, you did a great job there. And he wasn't expecting this. I hope he's on. But literally in 2 minutes, Steve has a running buddy, right? One thing I want to encourage you all, go find a running buddy. You know, maybe Ib's far ahead of me to be a running buddy, and he's too much into his running to be a running buddy for Dave Ives. Okay, but go find a running buddy, because he's running with one of his team members to 100 customers. And so, Greg, are you on the call? If you are, unmute yourself, because one of the things I've loved about this guy is he's so excited, and yet he was so, but he's never looked at this type of marketing or product way of movement, because he just didn't believe in anything. And now this guy, no, he's come back into the room. Look, he's come. So here's Greg. But Greg, find a running buddy. These two are racing against each other to hit 100 customers. So quick one, Steve. Steve, how many customers have you got already in 2 months?
I think about 40 by the end of today, when I'm just standing this couple of.
Greg, how many have you got?
Say that again.
How many customers have you got?
34.
Oh, mate, you're lagging behind. So, guys, this is Greg Johnson. I haven't actually got to physically meet him yet, but he's another one who blows up my messenger. He blows up my WhatsApp. He doesn't come to me complaining about stuff. Dave, what about this? Thanks, Dave. He's gone. He comes asking questions, gets the information, and goes and uses it. So
yeah,
Greg,
that's normally when you're in the bath as well, for some reason.
Shush. That's where I do. That's where I do the office work. So put your hands up if you've ever caught me in the bath. There's a few of you. I know you have. There you go. See. So Greg, just a minute or two. This wasn't scheduled, so why don't you just share?
No,
you're excited about the product. I heard Greg on a sales call. We'll call it a sales call. He actually recorded himself with a cold contact, responded to an ad, and I listened yesterday to his call, and it was phenomenal. Asking the questions. Great. What's your card?
Yeah, so my background is personal training as well. It's online nutrition. So I've got a bit of background of, you know, getting on the calls with people and giving value, problem solving, that kind of thing. But personally for me, I've not done a lot of that for the last 5 years. So I've had to get back into this kind of you know, way of selling again, because I had a pretty rough couple of years. When I was 30, my dad passed away and I had cancer in the same year. So after that, that's actually the same year I met Stephen. So it was really bad on 3 levels. But he introduced me to this opportunity, and I've always been a bit skeptical of coming into a company where you're selling products, but I think with the way the products are customer driven, customer testimonial driven, and proven with the blood tests, it just felt like a no-brainer for me. So for me, it gave me a lot of purpose back. It gave me a lot of passion, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, as I know a lot of guys on here are. So I mean, I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to be sharing here, but it's just, for me, in terms of an opportunity, it's given me definitely a new lease of life. I've hit 34 customers personally. I think, I'm on target to be an executive, hopefully by the end of next month, so I can see myself working up the ranks over the next 6 months, when originally my goal was only to earn £2,000, which I told Stephen this about seven weeks ago. I want to earn £2,000 a month with this within the first year going into next year. And obviously that target's completely changed now.
Great, Greg. Thank you. I know you weren't planned, so thank you for stepping back into
my dating life's got a lot worse because all I talk about is fish oils. So it's not really good for a night out on a date, but it's good for business, definitely.
Brilliant. Congratulations, Greg. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, we're going to switch gear now and just go into some fundamental training. A couple of things I'd love you to take on board is, remember the system, and it alluded to it at the very beginning, the system is key. Sometimes we try to adjust the system to fit somebody else rather than get people to understand the system and why it works. So, Steve's got a different skill set to me, most definitely. Greg comes from a different background. I've got a different personality to Sue Booth. So, but guess what accommodates all of that? The system. So learning how to position things and the tools and resources. Now, again, I want to say what I said at the beginning of the call is there's various teams on here right now. So please, if we say anything that may be not in alignment of what your upline's teaching, then please go back to them, because I'm now going to show some of the stuff that we're using as a tool, as it were, and a resource that we are putting together for our organization. But the reality is, it's understanding you don't need to know what Steve Wilson was sharing with you there for a minute ago. Or if there's bioresonance practitioners on here, there's dentists on here, but you don't need to be a professional. What you need to be, as regards to academically, what you need to become is a professional sharer. A professional sharer. Use the information. So, although Stephen went into a little bit details, and Greg does the same, when people inquire about the responding to their marketing, they ask questions. So they're finding out a need. Well, I find the need by saying the same thing. Hey, Stuart, how are you? How's the family? Good. Hey, Stuart, look, just a quick one. It's health important to you. Yeah. Good luck. If there was a test that you and I can take together that could see whether we were in or out of balance with our health, I don't even talk about omegas. Why? I don't want it to go over their head initially. Would you take a look at a 2-minute video? Yeah, it would. Now, the key element is the amount of people that ask me, what video? And they would know the video if they had gone through what? The Getting Started training. And so I'm going to encourage everybody on the call today is to start anew today. Imagine you've just been enrolled today and go through your Getting Started training. So, and some of us have been around a month or two. I know, I appreciate that. But I'd encourage you to go through the Getting Started training. If you need to go through your Getting Started training again with your sponsor, if you've been in a month or two, arrange a time. And don't say, well, I know it all. Go through your training again. Because you're going to see that probably the training that you were shown 2 months ago hasn't changed, but the person who showed you 2 months ago may have grown themselves. 2, that you may have grown mentally yourself. And so you may understand or may have picked up a few other elements that could really just be a fine tweak, but could actually supercharge your growth. So I'm going to show you what I do when I get someone started. And then I want to finish off with the importance of how we build online right now. Because we got 50, we just went over 50, we've got about 50 people. What if we all went and got two people for Monday night's influencer call? Just while I've got it in my mind, influencer call, Monday evening, same link as you joined the call today. And we have the founder, Orion Sally, on the call. So would you suggest or agree in the next 48 hours, you want to be reaching out to people? Get them on the call Monday evening to hear the individual who kicked this off with his wife, Hilda. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. So the first thing I do is obviously we walk people through their back office and then we go through the file library. I'm not going to go there. Is a getting started training. And what you've been seeing over the last few weeks is that we've been doing some trainings. We've been doing some how to register a customer, how to register a partner, how to download your apps. And I know there's some technical glitches there, but you know, how encouraging you to manage the frustration and then just work through the issues, communicate if you can't do it on your own, and we'll get it resolved. So always walk people, don't send them to their back office or send them to the getting started training video. If you're going to do that, send them to the video, then say, look, I want you to watch the video, but we still need to schedule a time because I physically want to walk you through how to use your back office, how to set up. Go to their Fast Start dashboard, let them see the 3 red donuts and say, our goal together is to turn them green. If we created a team that all we focused on was turning red donuts to green in the first 60 days, forget going diamond, forget going crown, black crown, and the success that Ives has, that will happen if we teach the foundational building block, and that is turn all those red donuts green in 60 days. If we teach that and then show them what tools to use to be able to learn to message, we're going to have exponential growth. So one of the things we've done, and Sue Booth, thank you very much, Nigel Booth, for all your effort. This is all down to them. We've created a YouTube channel, and right now there's 41 subscribers. This, by all means, open to everyone, right? But this is fundamentally for people in the UK because it's obviously going to be anglicized. But here you can go and learn how to, let me just move this around and go to videos. So when someone asks me, how do I register a customer? First thing is, if they're new and they're asking me how to register a customer, I say, look, I'd love to do it with you. My goal with my newest partner is to make sure I'm doing the first 2 or 3 registrations. So to help them go smart bronze, you really want to be the one who's registering the customers with them so they can watch you register the customer and learn as the customer asks questions and sees you how you build a rapport and how you build a relationship while you're registering. Now, you're not going to be able to do it 100% of the time. And I know someone go, well, I just sent my link to my customers and they register. And guess what? Then you're going to get calls back. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh, I changed the wrong flavor. And you're going to find out you're going to use more time correcting than if you used your time to invest in showing. I always tell people, teach them by showing them, not telling them. So really set a goal. If you sponsor a new partner, you walk them through their Fast Start bonuses, but be the one who's with them as they achieve Smart Bronze and Fast Silver. Then once you've shown them how to do that, then guess what? I know what Marco always teaches, you know, I, we, you, I. So I mean, he does the first few for them, then he does it with them and lets them do it, and then he lets them do it all on their own. If you do that, if you're trying to sort of shortcut the shortcut and let them go on their own before they're ready, you're going to see people not moving through the ranks quickly enough because they don't know everything. And as soon as they get maybe a question they're not too sure about, guess what they're going to do? They're going to think now, oh, before I even talk to anyone now, I need to get buried into the knowledge so I'm knowledgeable. And that will slow down the growth. That's why you work together, to be able to let you be the example while they learn and you help them moving through the ranks. So in here, you've got a playlist and you're going to see this grow and grow and grow. You know, I don't know, technically, I don't know how to do it, but something I'd like to do is shorten Ib's little bit, and that will go up as a leader. Shorten Stephen Wilson's bit about what he does with customers, and that'll be a how-to. So over the coming months, the library is going to get bigger and more in depth. So for example, we're building the testimonial page. Those who are in the business that have done 2 tests, we need your testimonials. And Nigel Booth has kindly done a training on how to do a testimonial, how you can record yourself. And we want to populate this with 20, 50, 100, 200. Do you know what that's going to give us? Social evidence, social proof. And the more we build the social proof, the more we're going to be able to be attractive to more customers. So spend some time over there. Go and see. There's a how to register a customer. Let me just go back again. So how-to trainings. How to register a customer. How to register a partner. Now, I know you get bored of Sue Booth and Nigel Booth and myself. I know. But the more we break ranks, the more we get more we get people moving through the ranks. We want to see your faces and your voices, not ours. But right now, we're trying to give you as much tools to use and leverage so you can grow fast. So here, you're going to have, I'm just going to do one more example. Product presentation. So I'll go, hey, Ib, how are you? How's the family? Good. Look, if there was a test that you and I could take together to see whether we were in or out of balance with our health, would you check out a 2.5-minute video? Yeah, I would, Dave. Great. Now, don't just send them the link. Put value on the link. Hey, Ib, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to send you a 2-minute video, and that video is just going to handle the product and the importance of being in balance with our health. Now, once you've watched it, if you want to know more, I would love to answer your questions. And also, if you need more information, I've got a presentation, 20-minute long, of just on the products. So you may not need to use the video. The point I'm going to want you to understand is, just because we've got the tools, it doesn't mean you have to use them all. Some people, after seeing the 2.5-minute, go, Dave, you know what? I was actually thinking about doing something about my health right now because I've been struggling. Hey, not a problem. Why don't we jump on a Zoom and I'll answer some of your questions. I'll be happy to get you registered and walk you through, and I'll be love to serve you as a customer. I use the tools and I gauge when I need to use them. You can convert people before the end of the process if you've asked the right questions and they're ready to become a customer. But the point of here is you can go and grab, you don't have to wait for a Tuesday night presentation, because Tuesdays is our live customer presentation. If I talk to Ib today and I think I've got to wait for Tuesday, then I could lose Ib in regards to I may not have his attention, life catches up. So, hey, Ib, look, I want to give you a 2-minute video. It'll explain the product and how it works and the importance of us being in, and I always use the word us, we, because it then creates a togetherness. Watch the video. I'll give you a call a bit later today or tomorrow, which is best for you. Great. Answer some questions and we see where we go from there. I'll get back with Ib. Well, you know, it looks good, but I need to know some more about the products. Of course you do. Let me send you a recording of one of my business partners. Now, here's where we learn edification. Let me send you a link to one of my business partners. Now you've just raised yourself up into a business person. One of my business partners who explains our entire product range that's all built around our balanced soil. Oh, now what you're doing, you're sowing the seed into if there's more than one product. What you're doing, you're lining up the protocol. So there's ways, and this is practice, folks. This is repetition, repetition, repetition until it sits and flows naturally. But it only flows naturally when you do it often enough. So here is a load of resources. So the next thing I do with my new partner is I take him to zinzino.tv. Now here today, you see Paul Clayton's just upped, or Zinzino's just upped a new video of Paul Clayton talking about the benefits of our products. And I can tell you, I know Stephen's watched this. Not that he's told me, is that he even used a few of the lines from the video. So with Wait, and if you want to see, there's a couple on here with Ib on here as well. I want you to understand this is a real business. So discipline yourself that at least go to zinzino.tv once a day and see if the first video has changed. Because if it's changed, it means there's a new one. Stay fresh, stay informed. And as you see, I always say to my newest person, hey, I'd love you to watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to share my mobile phone in a minute. And it'll be, I want you to watch welcome message from our CEO, welcome message from CEO, Hilda, our founder, the system, Hilda getting started. And then I walk them through. I take them to zinzino.tv. I show them where they are. And then I highlight to them, hey, Ib, look, this welcome from, there we are, Dag there. I'm just going to move my control panel. Look, Ib, it's only 2 minutes, 8 seconds. All the way through, I'm letting Ib know it's not going to take a lot of time. But I set him some homework. And then I send him, once we finish the call, I'll send him a WhatsApp with the 7 or 8 videos I've showed him with the links already done. Why? I don't want him to go, which most people do, whew, where did they say that was again? Now, eventually, I want Ib to be independent, but I'm not going to expect him to know exactly and remember everything. So I want to show him, I want to walk him through, and then I confirm what I taught him by giving him the information. So you'll see several videos, and these videos are so professionally done, they're unbelievable. So 1, I walk them through their back office. 2, I take them to the team YouTube channel where they can learn things. And 3, I take them where the corporate videos are, and I set them some homework. And then, of course, we obviously, at that time when we're going through the back office, we're going through the express start and where we're really highlighting that this is what they need to refer to. A lot of people now say, well, how do I read a test? Have you read your express start? Because there's a section there of how you read your test results. How do I do? Have you gone to your express start? Sometimes we want to answer every question. And when we do, the new partner stops using the tools and they keep coming to you. That doesn't duplicate because they'll take the road of least resistance. So sometimes go, that's a great question, Ib. I think you'll find that in the Express Start manual under how to read the test results section. Check that out. If you've got any questions after that, give me a shout. The key here is to not just to get people in, but to raise them to be professional people in your team. So the tools are all around us. The company is one of the reasons I joined in May of last year is because of the tools. The tools are phenomenal. So if you don't know where the tools are, that is another reason to book in a getting started training again, because you can always restart. So I want to close out with a message about right now. Ib talked about he's built his business fundamentally offline. Of course, we're in an environment right now that, you know, we're online, but we've always built our business online in the last 8 months. And a month ago, we were teaching that we want to be online, but we're going to not do so many live events because we're going to have recordings that you can take people to. And that the first week of every month, that all the events would be live. So on a Tuesday, we always have a customer presentation. On a Thursday, we always have a business overview. And we were going to do that the first week of every month. And then on a Saturday morning, we have a getting started training for all the new partners that may have been brought in with new partners who don't know how to train yet, that will help them get their people started, plus the recordings. Well, what we said a couple of weeks ago is they were going to be live. And then for the rest of the month, you could, on a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, you could be out there having a cup of coffee with someone and sharing with them, because we're not going to do live events. You can use the recordings of the first week. Of course, now we find ourselves isolated. So now we're online. So there's been a little bit of gray area where people go, I didn't know you were doing live events now. Well, right now, we're doing them more than ever. And right now, we need as many of you on the events so we can create social proof. So, and I'll say this with a tongue in cheek, but 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, UK, is a customer presentation. I don't care if you've heard Sue Booth over and again. I don't care if you've heard me over and over again. Why? The new person hasn't. The customer presentation isn't for you. It's for your new customer. And if you're not showing enthusiasm, if you're not bringing people to the call, then all of a sudden, Stuart has somebody who potentially wants to look at being a customer. He invites them on, and there's 3 people, him, his prospect, and the speaker. Do you think his customer would have more social evidence if there was 50 people on the customer call on the Tuesday night? Now, here's what I'm going to say to you. You don't have to stay there on the call. You can log on, you can mute out, you can turn your camera off, and you could actually be doing a 3-way call if you can't get your prospect on the call, but you're at least visible. So when I bring on Ib, who's a potential customer, he goes, whoo, 44 people. That's what's called playing team. And I think, or I believe, and in my heart, I know a lot of Ib's success is because he is a footballer. He understands team. He understands discipline. He understands playing part of a bigger community. And that's how we're going to put 200,000 customers in. So on a Monday night at this time, continually, we're going to have an influencer call, 8 p.m. Our goal, and we won't get it every week, our goal is to have a high corporate individual or a high individual who's achieved in the organized company. So this week we got the founder. We can't do any better than that, right? So every Monday it's an influencer call. And for those who are in various teams, right now we are in a pre-launch of the United Kingdom. Yes, we're operational, we're buying product, we're having it shipped, we're getting paid, but we're in pre-launch. So that's a message we can share with people. Hey, Ib, I don't know where you are right now, but I'm working on a project in the wellness sector. I've just aligned myself with a Norwegian company, 15 years old, did 80 million euros in sales last year alone in a handful of countries. United Kingdom and the Irish markets are next to be officially open. On Monday night, the founder's going to be doing a live presentation into the United Kingdom. But before then, I've got a 10-minute audio that you can literally click a link and just listen to one of my business partners who's going to give you a 20,000-foot overview. If you like what you hear, I'd love to secure your spot on Monday night's call. Do you think that has a little bit of posture about it? So using the tools, but it's not just giving them away. It's learning how to put value on the tool. So Monday night influencer call. Well, Dave, what about some influencers during the week? Well, we have a 24/7 influencer recording. We record it on a Sunday. Sue Booth, Nigel, myself, and of course we want more of you. We'd love for you to do a recording if you're ready. You don't have to be a rank. If you are passionate, if you can position it, if you can share within 10 minutes what we're looking to achieve here in the UK, then we could do a recording. And guess what we do? We play your recording for 7 days in a row. So when Ib clicks on that link, could be 11 p.m. at night, when Carlene clicks on that link at 6 a.m. in the morning. It doesn't matter. When Michelle clicks it on 2 p.m. in the afternoon, they hear the recording. Hey, Michelle, if you know what, I'm aligned myself with a wellness company that's about to expand here in the United Kingdom, 15 years old, by the way. They're totally debt-free, did 80 million euros in sales. They've got over 250,000 customers already. You know what I'm doing? I'm letting Michelle know that they're already successful without her. Right? Hey, I don't know if you're looking. If you are, in the first instance, I'd love to send you a recording to listen to, 10 minutes of your time. And if I'll give you a call after that, if that piques your interest, I can let you know that on Monday night, we have the founder live on a webinar. I can reserve your seat. But first thing I need to do is get you to listen to that. And if you want to know more between now and Monday and you can't wait, I could actually get you on a call with one of my business partners in the UK. You know what you're doing as you're sharing with Michelle? You're lining up follow-ups. Now, it doesn't always go to plan. What you don't see is the no's I get. What you don't see is the rejection I get. I'll guarantee you, Ives has got a story. But now look at him. And so use the tools effectively. When there's a live event, be on it. Well, Dave, you don't understand. I'm at my daughter's XYZ. And I know a number of you do this, and I appreciate you. But we need more of us doing it. Dave, I'm at my child's recital. Dave, there's an illness in the family, or whatever. I appreciate it. But where you can, log on, turn your camera off, and let's build these numbers. So when the 1 prospect, the 2 prospects, the 3 customers are on the call, they're going, they're listening to Sue Booth now, but they see 44 people on. They see 100. Now you could be out there washing your hair. They have no idea. It's creating culture. So take that on board. I know we've got time differences. We've got Africa. Don't expect you to be on all the UK calls. Australia, we're getting up early to do calls for you. But Europe, we're only an hour apart. We can support one another. So I just wanted to close that out with, you know, online right now is when how we're building. But don't wait for Tuesday evening's customer. You can use the recording, or you can say, Sue, I've just spoke to a couple of ladies at the school gate. They've got the 2-minute video. I'm going to follow up with them this afternoon. When are you free, Sue? So when I get back with them, I can give them a time, rather than going, I'm going to speak to the ladies first. Then I go, hey, Sue, can you jump on the call for me now, right now? Because I've got these. No, can't. Oh, I thought you were there to help me. I am, but you're not the only person on the team. So if we schedule our calendars and schedule our diaries, we're going to have a greater conversion too. Hey, Stuart, you know that call, go through the process, watch the video. Hey, Stuart, look, I've just spoken to one of my partners, and she's free at 3 o'clock. Now, if you've got any questions, because I'm just getting started, but I've been on the product, just done my first test, haven't got my results back yet, but I'm feeling a lot better already. But, you know, you may have some other questions I can't answer. She's free at 3. Does that work for you? That's, again, a different posture than going, hey, let me know what you think. And then if you like it, I'll get hold of one of my, and you're putting value on them as opposed to putting value on the support. Let that work in your favor. So we're going to wrap up. Tomorrow, we're around. There's no team call right now. We're using Monday night's influencer call. And of course, on Monday night at 9 p.m., we also have our One Mondo team call. Make sure you're on that. Learn as much as you can. And as you share this with people, and I will finish with this, diarize their calendars for them. Okay, I always tell people, and I was on a call before this with Steve Wilson, and the lady's a high influencer. And I said to her, if you are willing to invest 10 or 15 hours a week, then over the next 3 to 6 months, we can achieve some good things together. But in those 10 or 15 hours a week, you want them to schedule the team call, the customer call, the the business presentation, the Saturday morning getting started training. They're only 4 hours, if we went an hour, of the 10 hours of building their business. People don't know what they're supposed to do unless we show them. So make sure when you get people started, You walk them through their getting started training. If you're not good at doing the getting started training and you're new yourself because you're new, then get someone else to do it with you so you can learn as we're doing it. Commit yourself to the diary and find out where we need to be on so we can support one another, whether we're washing our hair or not, mute out, video off, and I'm going to do something else. And then set your goal and get with your upline, let them know what help you need to get through that fast start period and to hit all those financial rewards. So Ib, I know you're still on. Thank you. Steve Morley, you're doing an incredible job. A big shout out again to Nigel and Sue Booth. Without them, most of us would not have the infrastructure that we have access to right now. And so looking forward to finishing off the month strong. We got 4 or 5 days to hit those ranks. So look in your back office, see how your circles, your donuts are looking, see what points are missing. And if you got 200-300 credits missing on one side, don't go, oh, that's 200-300 credits. I don't know if I can hit it. You don't have to hit it on your own. You only need to be working with someone in your upline who can maybe speaking to someone and they put an ultimate underneath you. There's 150 credits. It's learning that you don't hit it on your own. We do it together. So let's all show with a round of applause for Ib Nelson. What a wonderful, wonderful man for his time. Steve Morley, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll all see you very soon. Let's finish the month strong. God bless.
Thanks, everyone.